Hi Aquarius, here is a general look at your solar chart for August 2015. This is a time to collaborate, to cooperate. Two heads are better than one. This isn't the time to be going it alone. There's a lot of emphasis on your partnership area, also close relationship area, and those can be fleeting, quick, interactions with others, or it might be something more long term. But you definitely benefit through these interactions, and this is a time to get the best you can out of these relationships until the 8th. Mercury is in your opposite sign, so you can hit it off with someone. You can have been hitting it off with someone the whole time that Mercury's been in there, since July. And communications, personal, professional, in close interactions and collaborations of all kinds, interactions of all kinds, sharing ideas, playing with ideas, bouncing ideas around, and others seeing you as the person who's got the maybe the knowledge or the advice or just the background or the experience, or you seeing certain others having that information that you're looking for, and is a good agent or go-between or guide for you. Mercury comes out of there, and then between the 8th and the 28th goes into a much deeper area, so there's some deeper, quieter inner pondering going on there, you drilling down to fundamentals and sussing things out. It's a great time for strategic thinking, but also it's quite an emotional area, so emotions can get in the way of your thinking as well. But it's a transcendent area, so try to stay away from ego, because then you can get in a sort of like a sort of a sort of a flat spin, really, with your thinking. And in all honesty, getting to the basics of what's going on, and asking yourself, what is useful, what is valuable, who, what, where, those sorts of things. And then from the 28th onwards, Mercury goes into a much more expansive, upbeat, outgoing area. Apart from July the 19th to August the 1st, when she'll be more deeply involved emotionally and materially, or involving you more deeply emotionally or materially, Venus is strong in her favorite place, and so this is really giving a boost to the love life, to friendships, and collaborations, associations of all kinds. But many of you could find a special someone, or more than one, in your life at this time. And some of you could be tying the knot as well. Some of you could be feeling very sort of more secure because of a certain relationship that you have, and you and another could be very much enjoying each other's company. And also this is a time when you're likely to get others likely to have others around who really appreciate you, and vice versa. Until the 9th, Mars is in a sector which emphasizes the practical side of any bright ideas. So here's you being a busy little bee, and getting things organized, getting the ducks in a row, figuring out how to repair, fix, maintain, maybe learning a new skill, whether you volunteered to or not, because you just need to know which buttons to press, or maybe it's to do with health for some of you, and this can be a time when you've got to take better care of your health, or maybe it's your diet and exercise regime, or it might not be you, it might be somebody else around you. Daily duties and methods and techniques or technology, all of these sorts of things tend to be highlighted, so that you can get things, the equipment and whatever it is, running as smoothly as possible. And collaborations can be productive, but there may be some conflict in this area as well, maybe with a service provider or a health provider, that kind of thing. However, it is a time when you can generally tend to get them together, and you can get your act together. And then from the 9th, Mars goes into your opposite sign, the same area as the Sun, really lighting up that part of your life with these personal exchanges, this rapport with another, even more, but making it more dynamic, more physically active. So maybe getting out and about with somebody more. But be aware that because of the agenda of another, or the energy level of another, or the requirements of another, you could have a lot of demand put on you. So do take enough time out, for some rest and relaxation, and don't let somebody push you into something, because this energy is quite pushy. On the other hand, you might be the pushy one. Just don't be hasty. And everything should be fine. Don't dive in head first, without a little bit of circumspection. Now, from the 23rd, it's a gear shifting phase. You'll probably be feeling your way forward as you intuitively sound things out. It's a great time for, in fact, really, it's a great time for research. When Mercury moves on the 8th, it begins then, and more strategic thinking, planning, that kind of thing. Also, it's a great time for detox or a spring clean as well from the 23rd, because that is a time of transition from one sort of state of being or stretch of road to the next. And it can also mean that that finances or something which is shared or which you intend to share has more of your attention, or something which is a resource but which is not yours alone, that could be having more of your attention. Saturn is back at the top of your solar chart until September, and this is a more dynamic position of Saturn with a few challenges coming your way. So you'll have to clear the hurdles and the obstacles in your trajectory, in your career, and this will help you to maybe redefine your place in the world and which direction you really want to be following. And this is where you can reap what has been sown in the past as well, for good or ill. But have a look back 29 years and you'll get a sense of what was going on then, and maybe how that panned out and what's going on now. And you Aquarians born from the 16th of February from 27 degrees rising, you're going to feel this energy the most this forecast period. And then Jupiter will be opening the way to grow through, has been opening the way to grow through your close personal relationships, but also, as I was saying earlier, other one-to-one type interactions, friendships, and the like, for a year. And now Jupiter is going to move from the 11th. Jupiter begins his new cycle, and will be putting a beneficial emphasis onto your joint financial area, but it's also the area of joint interests, sharing with another, whether that's an outside agency and it's to do with property or finance, or whether it's to do with somebody materially your life could grow and expand through the contribution of key associations over this coming year, or a partnership. And definitely this way abundance comes. You can do well with maybe funding of some kind, or pooling resources with another pools resources with you a little bit more, and you find it easier to access the sorts of material resources that you need. And it could be as well a different financial strategy, but or debt settled in your favor, or some kind of settlement or inheritance. You early Aquarians or Aquarius rising, or those born from the 16th of February onwards, or from 27 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most. Now, having said all that about Jupiter, between the last few days of July and just after the middle of August, we have Jupiter and Saturn kind of by degree rubbing, and there's a friction between the two of them. they're kind of rubbing each other up the wrong way in a way. But overall, it's a growth period, but without the limitations, but with the limitations, and that sometimes the setbacks of Saturn. That is just the way that they operate when they come together like this. However, you can be highly concentrated, highly focused, but you will have to get down to the reality of your ideologies and your pet theories. You'll have to get down to the reality of, okay, how does this work, or how can this be made to work in real time, in fact. The challenge will be to choose just where to expand and where to cut back. There could be a sort of a moral dilemma going on there, or maybe not. But you don't have to feel pushed into making a decision. You tend to get the time when Saturn's in the mix, so you can make an informed decision based upon how things are panning out. And it's possible that actions taken now will have a long-term effect into the future, but you might have to be more careful with money, resources of various kinds, possessions, property, and if you've been feeling squeezed, then your style being cramped, then this may be the time when you decide to change your current setup for one which offers you a wider range of options, or a broader sort of, to broaden your horizons in some way. And you don't have to, as again I say, even though there's a certain amount of conflict and tension there, you needn't feel rushed. And that's it for August. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And this material is written up on my website, DianaGarland.com. And I will see you the next time.